Hello, kindergartners, first graders, second graders, and third graders. It's good to see you today. It's Miss Alyssa here, or Mrs. Hilliard, as some of you call me, with week 4 of occupational therapy. So if you watch this video, you will be ready for next week's activities. So we have our 3 bins as usual, 1, 2, and 3. And again, I like these because they create a definite beginning and end point to each task. And also they help with organization and structure of the OT session. So if you don't have shoe boxes or bins at home, I encourage you to get them. And you can always make numbers, and that helps with kids too who need that definite endpoint. So the first activity I have is a hand warm-up, and it works on strengthening the hand as well as proper scissors grasp. So you will need some plastic straws and some scissors and some kind of bin to catch the straws in. So a lot of kids have trouble with hand preference for picking up scissors and positioning them properly in their hand. So I always put the scissors in midline, have the student hold one thumb up in their dominant hand, put the thumb in the little hole, and put the rest of their fingers in the big hole. And then we practice opening and closing before we even cut paper, so we can coordinate the elevation of the shoulder with the open and close pattern of the hand. So what we're gonna do is snip straws into the bin. And this is nice because you do need a neutral position of your wrist to cut, because some kids like to turn their thumb in when they're cutting. The straw will not cut if you turn your thumb in. So snip, 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 snip. And we like to let these fly all over the room when we're working at Sunview. And then we pick them up and we put them on a string. So you can always add to this activity by having a shoelace or a string ready and having your child put the little clippings on a string. So that's our hand warm up for this week. We're gonna set that aside. And then for bin number 2, our craft this week is a fall flower. So we're starting our fall theme, and we are going to make a sunflower. And this is what it's gonna look like. So we're going to practice tracing a circle, drawing lines down, cutting on the line, snipping, tearing paper, and also visual spatial skills, because we're going to have to copy this design. So you will need a circular template, preferably a larger one that takes up half the paper, a small circular template, a black marker, yellow paper, orange paper, green paper, and a little square of brown paper. I used a 1/4 sheet, and you'll need glue, and don't forget, oops, we used them in bin number 1, your scissors. So we're gonna start by taking our yellow paper and our circular template and holding it at the top, or even the center, doesn't matter, of the paper, and tracing it. So this is great because it works on bilateral integration, or using 2 hands, because you have to use that left hand or non-dominant hand to stabilize the template. And we're going to trace around, and then we're going to cut that circle out. Remember to stop and turn the paper when you can't cut anymore. I see a lot of kids flexing their wrist, trying to go all the way around, contorting their arm, and that is not comfortable. So once you have your circle, you're going to take that smaller circular template. I took my therapy putty lid, and you're going to put it in the center and trace it. Whoops. And I'll have a circle in the middle, just like that. Then we're going to practice those diagonal lines, going all the way around. Now remember, the more lines you draw, the more you're going to have to cut. So it's going to look like a sun when we're done. Like that. And we're going to cut on each of these lines. Make sure you don't snip that middle circle. You're just snipping to the middle circle, not on it. all the way around. Until they are all snipped. Then you're going to need your orange paper and your glue. We're going to put glue on the back of our sunflower. Make sure you put enough so that it sticks. And glue it on the upper half of your orange paper. We need some space down here below for our stem. The next step is to take that little square of brown paper that you have and work on that reciprocal movement by tearing. This is a great skill to have for fasteners, because if you think of button, snap, and zip, we need that reciprocal movement. So you're gonna tear that whole thing up. So you have a little pile of brown paper. And for some little kids who can't tear it, it's helpful to just start it for them. So you just make a little tear in the top and then they can finish. So one hand forward, one hand back. And we might not even need all of these. So then we're gonna take our glue and put glue just in the circle here. And if you need to put those X's where the glue goes, that's fine too. Take your brown paper and put it in the center of your sunflower. I try to tell kids to do this one at a time, because a lot of them will just want to scoop up the whole bunch and throw it on the paper. But we really need to work on those radial skills, radial hand skills, because that's what's important for proper pencil grasp so that we can write neatly. And when you're done, the middle will look like this. Now we're going to take those petals and we're going to fold down every other petal of our sunflower so it looks three-dimensional. And this is great because a lot of kids are working on folding skills too, which I always try to incorporate into my activities. So once you fold some of them down, oops, I missed one, it will look like this. So it looks like a sunflower. Then we're going to take our green paper. I just have a scrap because we really only need a small piece of this green paper. We're going to draw a vertical line down this side for the stem. And again, we're working on that line down. And you can use a ruler too. Some kids are working on using a ruler. That's very helpful too. And then you're just going to cut on that line. Try to put it right on the line. And I tell kids to try to line up this part of the scissors with the line, so they have that visual cue of how to stay on the line. We're going to take our stem and glue it underneath our flower. So you can take your glue, whoops, and stick it underneath your flower so you have that stem. And then if it hangs off on the bottom, you can always snip. Like that. Now we're going to practice drawing a more abstract shape. We're going to draw a leaf. So you're going to make a line like this. It almost looks like the letter C. And then you're going to draw a backward C. So you drew a leaf for your stem. We're going to cut that out. I always like to make a smaller piece of paper to cut around it first. And that helps with control for kids who are learning to cut on the line, especially more complex shapes. We're going to take our little leaf, and I'm going to put an X where it goes. It's going to go right alongside of that stem. I'm going to put glue on, put on our little leaf. Oh, lid. And don't forget to put your name on your project. So we're done with our sunflower, and I like to make a line for my name so I know that all my letters have to stay aligned left to right. And put my name. So now you have something else to hang on your fridge. This is a fun fall craft. So we are all done with box number 2 or bin number 2. I'm going to clean everything up and clear our workspace. and go to writing. Oh, actually, we're not done with bin number 2. We actually have to do our writing for my older kids. So I have a poem about a sunflower that a little girl wrote. I found this online, and it's called Sunflower Children. So it says, sunflower children, nod to the sun. Summer is over. School has begun. So I want you to try and copy this poem in your best handwriting. Don't forget to use your highlight paper or your highlighted lines, or maybe some 1/2-inch graph paper so that you can keep your letters in alignment. And you're going to skip a box between each word to work on your spacing. So I'm going to hold that up while you practice writing. So depending on how good you are at writing or how much practice you want to get, you might want to try just the first line or just the title or just the first sentence and then work your way up to all 4. So you can pause this video if you need more time. You want to make sure that you leave a space between your words. And some of those letters like G, they have to go down below the writing line, and that's something we work on in school. And we will work on this in our live session next week. So now we're done with bin number 2. Now we have bin number 3. And I think everybody's working on shoe tying with me, which is very exciting because I'm seeing a lot of progress. And there's 2 ways to tie a shoe. There's the adaptive method where we kind of plug in the ends of our laces, and then the standard method. So we'll do the adapted method first. If you're working alongside this video, we're going to take that top hole and just plug in. Whoops. Plug in. So you have a loop. And do the same thing on the other side. Hold up your bunny ears. Make an X. Look for that space down below. Take the one that's behind, goes down through the tunnel. Pull. And we're going to do that step one more time, but you got to save a space. Make an X. Look for that space that you saved down below. Take the one behind, and it goes down through the tunnel and pull. I like this method because your shoes don't come untied as easily. Now the standard method of shoe tying is pulling your laces up, crisscross, let them fall, hold them up, and look for that X. The lace that's behind comes down through the front, pull, that's your first knot, and you're going to make that bunny ear. When you make that bunny ear, it's very important to have this tail so you don't lose your lace. And then you're going to take that knot that you might have tied on the other side of your shoe, and that knot is going to fly around that bunny ear. Save that space down below, push it through and pull the knot, pinch and pull. And that's the standard shoe tying method. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to working with you all next week. Have a great weekend and be well.